Hey, welcome to our explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most incredible, yet totally invisible systems in the modern world. The journey everything takes, from just an idea all the way to your front door. You know the feeling. You've done it 1,000 times. You see something you want, you click a single button, and poof, a day or two later, there's a box on your doorstep. It seriously feels like magic, doesn't it? But how does that actually happen? Well, you guessed it, it's not magic. It's actually a breathtakingly complex dance of planning, logistics, and human cooperation. A massive, hidden network that's working 24/7, all to get that one thing into your hands. So today, we're going to unpack exactly how it all works. Okay, so let's dive right in by looking at the who. Who are the key players in this massive global relay race? Well, it all comes down to something called managing the distribution channel. So the official term for these players is a channel member or an intermediary. Really, you should just think of them as the crucial handoff points in the race. They're the wholesalers, the distributors, the retailers, all the links in the chain between the company that makes the product and, well, you. Now, choosing these partners, it's a huge strategic decision. A manufacturer can't just pick anybody. They look at everything, a partner's reputation, their experience, their financial health. Take Pet Vivo, for example. When they needed to get their biomedical devices to veterinarians, they chose a company called Vetcove. Why? Because Vetcove already had a trusted network of over 13,000 clinics. It's all about finding that perfect fit. And that right there is the key. The very best distribution channels, they operate like a true partnership. You see it with giants like L'Oreal and P&G. They absolutely depend on seamless collaboration with their networks. When everyone works together towards the same goal, delivering value to the customer, the whole system just works beautifully. But what happens when they don't work together? Well, that's when you get something called channel conflict. This is what happens when the players stop collaborating and start competing with each other, often at the expense of everyone involved, especially the customer. And this conflict usually comes in two main flavors. First, you've got vertical conflict. That's between different levels in the same chain. Just think about how streaming services like Netflix completely turn the traditional movie theater business on its head. That's the manufacturer, the studio, finding a brand new way to get to you, basically cutting out the middleman. Then there's horizontal conflict. This is between players at the same level. A classic example is two Holiday Inn locations that are right near each other getting into a crazy price war, just trying to steal customers from each other instead of working together. All right, so we've met the players. Now let's look at how they all fit into the machine itself. We're going to zoom in on the how, the powerful engine that drives this entire process from the very start to the very end. And that engine is called supply chain management, or SCM for short. This is the master plan. It's the art and science of managing every single thing that happens, from sourcing the raw materials to make a product, all the way through making it and distributing it until it finally lands with the consumer. And here's something that might surprise you. A great supply chain doesn't just start with raw materials. It actually starts with a promise. See, marketing makes a promise to you, the customer, and the supply chain's whole job is to deliver on it. When Dave's Killer Bread promises you power-packed organic whole grain nutrition, their supply chain has to start by finding certified organic suppliers who can deliver those top-notch ingredients every single time. Now, this massive job can be broken down into 5 core functions. I want you to think of these as the interconnected gears of the machine. You've got purchasing, operations, logistics, resource management, and the information workflow that ties them all together. And here are those gears in action. Purchasing, that's Ben & Jerry's trying to figure out exactly how much cocoa it needs for that new ice cream flavor. Operations is all about predicting demand so they can produce just the right amount. Logistics, that's the magic that ensures McDonald's fries taste exactly the same in Tokyo as they do in Tennessee. Resource management is putting the right people and tools in the right place. And that information workflow, that's the data flowing between everybody, making sure the right decisions get made at the perfect time. Okay, so that was the big picture of the machine. Now let's do a deep dive on one of the most critical gears, the one that everyone pictures when they think about products moving around the globe, logistics. To put it simply, logistics is where the rubber meets the road, literally. It's the part of the process that's responsible for the actual physical movement of goods. It's all the planning and organizing that gets a product from point A to B to C and eventually to you. And this breaks down into 3 core activities. You've got warehousing, which is all about storing products safely, and then picking and packing orders as they come in.
Then there's inventory management. That's the delicate balancing act of having just enough product on hand, but not so much that you're wasting money and space. And finally, of course, transportation. The trucks, trains, ships, and planes that do all the heavy lifting.
And choosing how to ship things involves this constant trade-off, because there's no single best way. You want something fast? Air is your answer, but it's going to cost you a lot. Want it super cheap? A container ship is your best friend, but it is incredibly slow. Trucking often hits that sweet spot of decent speed, low cost, and great accessibility. Picking the right mode is a massive strategic decision. And the reality is, most companies use a combination of these. It's called multimodal transportation. Apple, for instance, isn't going to send brand new iPhones from China to Europe on a slow boat. No way. They'll fly them over for speed and then use a huge fleet of trucks for the final distribution to every single store. It's all about using the right tool for each leg of the journey. So we've seen the players, we've seen the machine, and we've seen the logistics. For our final section, let's zoom all the way back out and look at the big picture. What are the major challenges and questions that are shaping the future of this whole incredible system? Let's be honest. We, as consumers, have been trained to want things faster and faster. Next day, same day, even 2-hour delivery. But as we keep pushing for more and more speed, we have to stop and ask ourselves, what is the true cost of all that convenience, especially for our planet? This very question is pushing a powerful movement towards something called sustainable sourcing. What this means is that companies are starting to look beyond just the price and quality when they choose their suppliers. They're now considering a supplier's environmental impact, their ethical practices, their social performance, the whole shebang. And this idea is perfectly captured by a company like Allbirds. Their founder looked at an entire industry that was relying on synthetic, petroleum-based materials and just decided to think differently. Their whole mission became about searching for natural, sustainable alternatives from Mother Nature like wool and different plant-based materials. And this isn't just some nice marketing slogan for them, it's a core business objective. Allbirds has set a very real, very concrete goal to reduce its carbon footprint from raw materials by 25% by 2025. This is what it looks like when a company builds its entire supply chain around the principle of sustainability. So that invisible network we talked about, it's more powerful than ever. It can deliver almost anything, from anywhere, at incredible speeds. But we now know it also has an impact, which leaves us with one last really important question. Every single time we click that Buy Now button, we're casting a vote. We are making a choice. So the question is, what kind of future are we all choosing?